Right now, we're going to talk about one of the most notorious police officers we ever hear about in the history in Jamaica. And remember, I tell you, say, one half. You understand? So I go just go in it because them say, this man now have more life than a cat. You can imagine. Alright. So I need for each. Retired super. Retired senior cop reflects on surviving over 41 years in the trenches. This is the 18th in a series of close encounter with death by Jamaicans, many of them in prominent positions of the society. As most Jamaicans familiar with his reputation as a crime fighter can imagine, retired senior superintendent of police Reneto de Cordova Valentino Adams has eluded death on countless occasions during his 63 years on earth. So when you hear the man name, or the man name sound fancy, Reneto de Cordova Valentino Adams. Alright, so I'm going to move on. He has been associated with bloody violence incidents such as the shootout between police and gunmen that left 27 people dead in West Kingston in July 2001. The killing of 7 men at a house in Brayton, St. Catherine 4 months before, and the deaths of 4 people in a house at Crawl, Clarendon 2 years later. So you see, my people, I know by now everybody know that man name. You see me, I know say that man is a deadly man. Because they must say yo, most of him thing them. Because they must say yo, him have science and thing in glasses, you see it. So I go just continue and read, and I'm going to hear more upon the story. In all cases, Adam has insisted that his life and those of the men under his command was in danger, and the law enforcers have been forced to defend themselves. But these incidents that projected an image of him as a bone-hard crusader against crime were persuaded by several others, which, save for his agility and luck, could have resulted in adding to the profits of undertakers. In other part, the meaning saying who same could have did a lot of times, my people. A lot of times. As me say, hence bringing the statement when me say have more lives than a cat. I have had several close shaves, Adams told the Jamaica Observer in a midweek interview. Although it might seem simple, I almost got killed around 2002 when a member of the police force, a detective, was shot dead in a bar at Cockburn Pen. We got the intelligence that the guy who did it had gone to a doctor's office along Red Hills Road, so we put up a cordon outside the doctor's surgery to catch him because we didn't want to go inside. And while he was walking out of the doctor's surgery office, he was being escorted out by 2 women. When I approached him, I said in my mind, this guy having done that crime would have hidden his gun. So we didn't approach carelessly, but we dropped our guard a little. Wrong move, he admitted. When we approached the guy and said police, he just took his right hand away from around the woman's neck and drew his gun, and bam, bam again. I was leading the party in front and 3 shots went off and landed in my bulletproof vest. I didn't even get to draw. It was my men who were with me who shot and killed him and took a 9mm pistol from him, Adams said. One of the women was charged for being in possession of a firearm and ammunition. Adams believed that if it weren't for the bulletproof vest, he would have died as the shots landed in the region of the abdomen. That really shook me up. The bullets threw me backwards, and even though I had on the bulletproof vest, I felt that I was physically shot. If it weren't for the vest, I would have been killed, stated Adams. The 2001 West Kingston shooting, for which a commission of inquiry was eventually held, proved to be Adams' biggest challenge by his own admission. He had seen policemen shot next to him, and the incident, he said, served as an alert to police personnel that the criminal underworld had superior firepower. A team of policemen went into Tivoli Garden about 5:30 in the morning and took up our position, but waited until the day was bright enough for us to move about. We were told that drugs and guns had come in and where the things were being stored. Adams reflected on the bloody rough foray into the first city's west end. When the search started, we found one handgun and that was when the shooting started. All we heard was gunshots from all directions. That was between North Street, Salt Lane and Wellington Street. The gunshots were so overwhelming that we had to retreat. And we said we wanted to go to the Denham Town police station, but we couldn't reach the station. So we had to go towards Metcalf Street, and we used some premises and drop out close to Majestic Theatre at Tivoli Court. That's where they took us on. Was 19 of us, and we separated ourselves into 5 groups that we could defend ourselves. We were heading to the Coronation Market to get out of his barrage of gunshots, which we thought was the safest route. When we reached into the vicinity of Tivoli Court, the type of caliber weapons that were being fired, we couldn't match with them at all. We had to lie down flat on our backs and started pushing on our backs, moving towards Coronation Market to get out of the thing, he said. Calls for assistance proved futile as the extraction teams were stuck on the outside as the gunmen had the whole area barricaded, he explained. I remember coming under intense pressure, we couldn't move anymore, and I said to the guys, we are going to rise up now and return the fire. We are either going to die now or get out of it. So we raised our heads and opened the fire in the direction of Tivoli Court, and immediately after we did that, they started firing from behind us, and we had to lie down again and started to move on our tummies. This time it took us 7 hours from Tivoli Court to the Coronation Market. And when it was getting late and while they were rearming themselves, a lull occurred. Adams disclosed to the Sunday Observer. The lull that he referred to was caused by the arrival in Tivoli Gardens of then members of parliament and opposition leader Edward Siaga, who tried to intervene and end the conflict, the inquiry was later told. But that suspension of gunfire, Adams said, did not last long. We heard that it was Siaga who had come in and they eased down the firing to make him come in. So we got up and moved towards the Coronation Market. When we reached between Tivoli Court and Ebenezer Lane, it was a barrage of fire again. Again, luck was on Adam's side, literally. I remember a shot went through my bulletproof vest and straight into a Corporal Henry, who was behind me, and he was shot in the groin. Corporal Henry said, Mr. Adams, me get shot. And I said, come on man, let us move. When I look on my shoulder, you could see where the shot went right through the shoulder, tore the vest and shot Henry. We got assistance with a vehicle and sent him off to KPH, that is Kingston Public Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. When I got the message that he has died, I said, well, we are all going to die today, but I am not staying under this pressure voluntarily. So Adams said he just started moving, tactically firing at the men in Tivoli Court. As his team moved to Ebenezer Lane, where an inspector of police who had come down from the mobile reserve began to lay down cover fire. We were going to cross Bustamante Highway and end up on Darling Street, and when I sent the first batch of men across, it was pure gunshots. It seems that they wanted me personally, as when I moved across there was an even louder barrage of shots, and I heard Constable Brown, who was beside me, said, Super, I get shot, you know. Brown had been shot in his side. When we went upstairs Coronation Market, I thought this thing would have been finished. People talk about this gun that they found down there only came in 2010, but I saw that gun being fired at us. It was on a tripod. When it fired into the Coronation Market while we were upstairs, pieces of the wall were broken. At that time, I thought it was a grenade launcher because every time it fired, it sunk. And when I saw the men firing a gun like that and the other types of gun that they were firing, I said that if this is what Jamaica has come to, Jamaica will pair daily with those people with the type of ammunition that they had. During the lull in gunfire, Siaga had offered Adams and his men safe passage out of Tivoli Gardens, something that Siaga later admitted to, but the gesture was refused by Adams, who felt that the offer was made only to him and not the men under his command. When he offered me safe passage, I said, "No, I am here on government business. I am an agent of the state. We have intelligence that guns are here and we are here to retrieve them." He told me that we could go up Bond Street, and I said, "Mr. Siaga, the government vehicles are here. The policemen that I lead are here. I come here to do a spot of duty and I don't want no safe passage. I'd rather be killed here today." After he left, that's the time gunshots started again. I remember seeing a woman with no fewer than 6 sticks of dynamite tied together, and we observed her coming towards the post, and she lit the dynamite and threw it upstairs the Coronation Market, and it exploded. A journalist lady who was there with us said to me, "Mr. Adams, we are going to die." And I had to counsel her and the others and tell them to cool off. There was gunshots firing from all directions and we had to return the fire. He recalled he escaped unharmed at the eventual end of the violent standoff. The shooting in Britain, where 7 young men were killed a mere 2 months before the West Kingston uprising, was also a situation that presented a clear and then present danger to the security forces, Adam insisted. Reports were that a group of men had gone to the Above Rocks police station in St. Catherine and shot and killed a constable. They also shot an ex-custom officer and a woman who was in the phone booth. So when you see my people, the man them they are move wicked, man them have Adams and never want, the man them they come like them want tear him up. Them no want to see him escape. So me gonna move on again. According to Adams, information led police to one of the alleged shooters who was staying at Cassava Peace in North St. Andrew. That young man took police to Red Hills Road, where they picked up another of the suspects, who pointed police to another individual in Cumberland, Portmore, St. Catherine. We were then taken to a place in Brighton on 5th Sealway, where we encircled the house. I rapped on the window, said, "I am Senior Superintendent Reneto Adams and I am here to execute a warrant." At that time, 3 shots zipped past my face and we had to take cover. My men started to pepper the place, and when the shooting ended, we found the men dead in the house. It was luck that saved me, as if I was standing right in front of the window. When I called out to the man inside, I would have been killed. Regarding the equality controversial shooting at Crawl, Adams said that apart from one of the women who died, all the others were involved in the attack on the police. The police, he said, had gone to the community, as information reaching them was that 2 expertise were to be kidnapped as they left the gold mine in the district by then wanted man Washington Cheng Douglas. We had that Cheng was staying there and extorting money from the gold mine and demanding to be employed. Commissioner Francis Forbes asked me to investigate the matter, and I set up a raiding party in waiting for the men. Just as the white men were coming down, they stopped and we came up and rushed into the yard. I saw Cheng with 2 guns, one of them a rifle, 2 other guys, a Rastaman and a brown guy, had shotguns. As we moved into the yard, they opened fire and I went behind a breadfruit tree. At the end of the shooting, 3 guns were recovered. And the 4 people died. One of the ladies, we had no intelligence why she was there. Probably she was at the wrong place at the wrong time. But the other woman was the girlfriend of Cheng, who used to buy gunshots and collect extortion money for him, Adams maintained. Cheng, who escaped that incident, was killed by his cronies long after, but the St. Elizabeth born Adams had come close to meeting his maker long before all those blistering episodes. He had been involved in shootouts that he said sent rivers and perspiration down his spine, but he survived the race toast to his continued existence. He still remembers vividly an incident in 1975 which opened his eyes to how thin the line is between life and death. Jamaica Defence Force had formed a squad to include traffic people, CIB, that is Central Intelligence Branch, motorized patrol, all the elements in the force that when we met up on a particular situation, we had people who could deal with that. At the time, Adams said many known criminals were driving the Ford Cortina motor vehicle. A Cortina? Yeah, Cortina. On Christmas Eve, we were patrolling in the Hagley Park area and being led by Tony Hewitt, who was a corporal at the time. We got information that 4 men traveling in a green Cortina had just robbed 3 places in half a tree and they were coming down Hagley Park Road. That time the 3 miles roundabout was not what it is now. You didn't have the dual carriageway either. He said the team set up a roadblock along the Hagley Park Road side of 3 miles where they got further intelligence that the target vehicle was coming. In those days we operated with plain cars and in plain clothes. As we saw the car coming, Tony drove our car right across the road and the boys, having seen that, made a deliberate dangerous right turn into Nova Scotia Bank premises. Immediately they ran out of the car. Initially the boys opened fire on us. We returned the fire and 3 were immediately shot dead and 3 firearms recovered, but one of them could not be found. I remember that the bank premises had a number of broad lily trees. So a policeman named Jack and I were searching for that man. My view was that the lilies were so thick that one of the boys could have been hiding in there. I was in front and had my 38 gun in my right hand, and as I used my left hand to turn away the lily trees, all I heard was "Bow!" and the piece of lily in front of me was shot off and dropped right in front of me. So I threw myself back, put my 2 hands in my lap and hauled up as close as possible, my feet to my ears, making myself a smaller target. The guy was firing a 9mm pistol. In a split seconds when I saw the guy, I actually saw him going to pull the trigger. As he fired the shot, I shifted. Jack, who had a shotgun, eventually killed him, Adams said.